What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. And today we've got him back, people. I don't know what's happened. Has he been injured? Where is he, man? But we got him. DG back in the building. The group's back together, man. You know what I mean? It's like when Dipset fell apart, they come back together. We're back, man.
Hey, we're back, but why do you always do this? You're actually a devil, man. Like, we'll be talking calmly in the backstage, and then you go and do this, man. What can I say? The gaffer's giving me minutes. I'm feeling like Pepe and Cedric. You're giving my minutes. Like, not every day I get to be here, man.
Hey, man, good to see you back, man. How's everything been anyway, man? I see you busy with the content and everything.
Same old, like yourself, man. Just trying to push out the thing. I see you, approaching 50 and that. By God's grace, it's double that in the near too distant future. So, nothing really. Just enjoying where Arsenal are. Just doing what I'm doing, man. Like yourself, Curtis, man. Simple business.
Yeah,
really.
Man. It's good to have you back, man. You know what? Sometimes I put out things like, "Who do you want me to collab with?" And I swear down, people are always like, "Yo, you and DG, man. I used to watch you." Remember, we used to do the videos at YouTube.
Used to do them all the time,
we do one on your camera, then one on mine, man.
That was crazy. Remember moving the tables and that, seeing which room's free quickly. Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, man. Listen, DG's it's in the title, so just click on it. I see you're close to 45k, so let's get him there today. And yeah, man, and we'll be back on your channel next week on Wednesday as well.
What's this guy talking about? What goal is this?
Oh, so we'll sort that out as well. Man said Bergwijn cameo with Borough. No, but listen, let's get into it anyway, man. Make sure you like the video as well, people. And man said Big Meech and Cassidy in a raw. Yo,
I hate that all of these are spot on, man.
Oh man, yeah, man, it's all good, man. Good to have you back. But where you at in terms of Arsenal? Just generally before we break it down, like how are you feeling at the moment? You're more positive about things, or you're a little bit on edge? How are you feeling?
I mean, come on, man. You can't not be a bit more positive. We've got to see it through, but everything's working, man. People are getting game time. The young G's are shining. We're winning games. There's a bit more fight. Bro, we look on course to be fighting for top 4, bro. So what can I say, man? Last time I was here, I don't even know the vid, but pretty sure we weren't saying this or bare smiles. Like, how often do people see me grin teeth? They've only seen me smile. I'm happy, bro. I can't say anything more, cuz I'm happy. I'm happy.
Do you know what I wanted to ask you here? Because I did a show the other day and we were saying, even though we're in this position now and it's a great position, if we didn't get top 4 from this point now with the way everything's gone, would you feel like that's a failure in some way, or would you still see it as progress if we get top 6?
I mean, it is progress if we get top 6. It's minimal. It's not that I want to applaud that, but we did go back-to-back 8 finishes. Top 4. We know we need to challenge for it, but it wasn't necessarily the expectation. Saying that, if specifically what you said, if we bottle it from this point, considering everything, then it would be a bitter pill to swallow. I mean, if we're going to aspire to be a better club and challenge for things, we've got to know when we're... it would be a failure from this point, but it's not something I'm going to hold over everyone's head, really.
Yeah, just obviously one bit of news that came out today, and listen, I knew this was going to come back, man, but they're talking about this Super League. There could be some sort of announcement today. The Juventus chairman saying he's going to run it now, and I think the Telegraph are saying that Arsenal won't be in it. What's your feelings? Because I always felt like, man, this Super League, it hasn't disappeared. It's just under the surface.
Like you said, it hasn't disappeared. To us fans, it looked like it just come out of the blue. But we know when it comes to these money men, it's very coordinated. And it was just going to be a temporary lie down. They're going to try and rehearse it and rephrase it. So I don't know what the changes specifically are, but it doesn't surprise me really and truly. I know the Champions League are bringing in certain changes of their own as well. So... yeah. It is what it is. It's nice to see Arsenal potentially aren't involved. But then again, should we want to be involved? I don't know. I'd have to see everything. I'm not necessarily against the Super League now. I'll be real with you, considering everything.
And you know what? That's the crazy thing, innit? Like, obviously, the fan base went mad, protest, this, that, the other. But it's like, if the Super League got the go-ahead, what do you do as Arsenal? Because all these teams are going to be mega rich in this sick league. And what do we do? Like, do you sit there and keep your moral and say, yeah, I didn't go into it, or are you missing out? It's a tough situation, isn't it?
It's where you can't win. Like you said, if you go into it, you're seen as cheating and things. But on the other hand, if it's gonna be a thing, do you really want to miss out the boat? I mean, if all the good teams leave the Champions League, we might have half a chance. So maybe we should hold our horses, bro. So yeah, bro, like it is what it is.
I'm telling you, man. What have you made of Arteta? Obviously, I think, but a few people throwing comments in. I had Kevin Campbell on here yesterday. He was like, I'm telling you, I'm surprised he didn't have Arteta on his shirt, but we had a great debate. He wouldn't hear a bad word said about the club, but I think we can agree that the manager is improving. We are seeing improvements. Has it been quick enough for you? How are you feeling about the manager in general?
I mean, he's doing his job, in it, really and truly. I mean, I don't agree with everything like you're not going to with everyone, but I think right now he's doing his job in the same way early on in the season, rightly or wrongly. At points you've deserved your criticism. Now things are happening. We're winning the games we're supposed to be. We're kind of reacting. As much as I like to praise Arteta and I'm full of admiration, I do think not that it goes over the top. It's like, on one hand, you can't really praise a bus driver for being able to drive a bus. That's the minimum. You went and done that. So I can't necessarily praise him for a lot of the wrongs he's written, but he deserves his praise. I do think when you talk about, I know you didn't mention it, but like new contracts and things, if he gets top 4, I believe he should have that. Anything else, I think it should run into next season or something. But then saying that, him getting a new deal obviously tells everyone that he's here for the long term beyond everything, man, really.
Yeah, Nima said the Super League will have relegation this time. I think they want to structure it a little bit different. But listen, to me, I think the Super League will happen eventually, because when all the powers that be want it to happen, usually these things happen. So it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, you touched on there the new contract. Like, I was a bit like, come on, man. Like, surely if we're a top football club, you've got to achieve something major before you're given that new contract. Like, do you think it's a little bit like early to be giving him that deal? I know obviously he's got a year left in the summer. If he gets top 4, cool, but do you think giving it in before the season's finished is a little bit risky?
Yeah, I agree with it that it is a bit risky. But then when I look at the club, it's almost like if we look at this season, there was never any sort of targets. We were kind of doing a grand reset. And in relation to the club, he's doing everything he's supposed to. So away from that, I can't really disagree with what they're doing. But I agree that it is probably too soon, because at the end of the day, it's about achieving. That's why I said if you get top 4, Wenger couldn't do that, Emre couldn't do that. Whether I believe in Arteta or not, you've done it, in it. If that's any other walk of life, you deserve promotions. If you get top 6, I think it should run into the season, especially if we were to bottle top 4. Not that I'm holding that over you. It's more like, if we're going to be a team that gets to latter stages of competitions, you need to be able to do that, bro. So yeah, man, I do think, to answer your question, in short, it is a bit early, man. But if he's doing everything they want him to, then fair play, really. Doing his job.
I know me and you, we always, like, when we used to do them old school shows, we always used to talk about Lacazette and Aubameyang and the front two, you know what I mean? We were always rooting for them too, man. Obviously, I don't think we've done a show since the transfer window. Obviously, Auba's gone. Lacazette's trying to hold it down. Just briefly on the Aubameyang thing, what's your feelings on the way that ended? Did you think it was best for everyone, or do you think we should have maybe held on to him?
But I mean, it's best for everyone, isn't it? For him, he deserves to, like anyone, you deserve to go into your place of work happy, knowing people believe in you and all of that sort of stuff, which he's getting at Barcelona. For us, for me as a fan, I just don't want to waffle about it, so it's not a thing. For Arteta, Aubameyang's one was different to like Ozil's and that, because it's like before you could kind of see that was playing on players' minds. Now it's kind of, that's you lot sort of thing we're carrying on. The only reason I'm not for it is because, as you know, there's a lack of goals in this team, and it's not always going to be this wavy thing where we're showing fight and turning things over. It's courageous, and I hope we get it done, but it's almost like bringing knives to a gunfight with Eddie and Lacazette up front, as much as certain ones does all the work rate and things. So, we've kind of cut off our nose to spite our face to a degree, but, considering money saved and all of that stuff that people talk about, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Like, what's your, like? And I was saying this yesterday, man. Like, I don't know if I'm overly harsh on people sometimes, but I'm just not this great believer in lauding Lacazette's work rate. Like, to me, I'm just kind of like, you're on 170, you play for Arsenal, you're at the top end of football. Surely that's the bare minimum. Like, what's your thoughts on that, Mo? And people were like, oh, the work rate's incredible.
You said it there, and I think two truths can be held in the same realm. In that the work rate he gives us, that second half against Wolves, he showed you what he does. But I'm with you; it's like that's the minimum. And we've both played ball, not to criticize Lacazette, but generally, when you talk about a baller, and the first thing you say is he works hard, he puts in a shift. 9 times out of 10, they may not be something.
Yeah.
We overcompensate with that because Lacazette doesn't bag, and if it comes down to who can score more to get fourth, we're kind of shot, but. I think I'm with you. It's almost like we say this about Laka, but you have a soft spot for the guy. It's like you'd be calling the squad just not that main striker done, man. But yeah, I do think people do too much with the work rate and that, man. 100%.
Yeah, man. I mean, would you give Laka a new deal?
I mean, it would have to be some extremely favorable terms, which probably is unrealistic for Laka to seek. If you could give him a 1-year deal with an extension, I'm not advocating 2 years. I think you could do with him in the squad, but yeah, man, I don't think so. I don't think we're going there, man. But saying that, bro, Balogun at some point might be our only striker in the summer. And is he necessarily ready? I don't know. He might have to depart on loan. So the quicker you sort out the striker stuff, the quicker you can progress other people's careers. So I don't know, man. I probably wouldn't, but I could understand if they did.
Yeah, it's one of. I read that. I think Leon want to offer him 2 or 3 years. I mean,
See,
unless he took a year at Arsenal with a pay cut and he knew he was going to
that
be
as well.
second, third choice. But I just can't see all of that falling into place with him. I think
Exactly.
probably time to move on from him. Obviously, just quickly, we're going to talk about some of the rumors that are going around today. Obviously, one that came up was this one for Gabriel Jesus, which I thought it was a bit of an interesting one because we've been linked with pretty much every striker around at the moment, but he's got a year left on his deal this summer. And he's on 90 grand a week. Apparently, the Brazilian manager has been saying he needs to leave Man City. He needs to be first choice somewhere else, the World Cup year and this, that, the other. What's your thoughts on Jesus? Would you take him? I mean, I'm going to put a poll in the comments, but what's your thoughts on Jesus?
I mean, Brazil bias. I'm going to take him in it. I think he's got a lot to work on at 24. I think he's a bit unlucky. I think Pep likes him, but I'm not sure if he's convinced on his qualities. Of course, when you've got the talent they have, they can do the false nine. But and man that are not strikers are playing ahead of you. There's the striker, does the Jesus, man, because bro, look at the minimum amount of goals we've got. I wouldn't say he's number one target, but it is what it is. I mean, the contract thing's interesting. Like, do you think there's any legs to that though? I mean, Arteta should know all about it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it, man? Because I'm like, I've always had this thing with Jesus where like I like him as a player. But then, like you say, Man City got no striker and he can't get ahead of like attacking midfielders and stuff. But I don't know, man. He wouldn't be top of the list, that's for sure. People saying your internet's cutting sometimes.
Wait, I'm just a humble kid from 4th Street, man. If anyone wants to invest in this thing, invest in this thing. Well, shut your mouth.
We're gonna put together, man. Get you that quicker Wi-Fi.
Hey, man, what can I say? I'm still probably looking like a sexy chocolate darling, man. Put your money where your mouth is, or leave me the hell alone. I'm broke, man. YouTube don't pay that well.
Yeah, but Blue is a Man City fan as well. He said, Winger definitely. He's not a striker. Incredible presser. He's clutch to be fair. Scores important goals, just not enough. I think a lot of people have said he's not the strongest when he plays up front by himself.
This is it. But
I don't know. They're saying it could be available for 35 million. And, with him, he's worked with Arteta before. It could appeal to him.
It could appeal to him, but then again, it's another sort of kind of. I think maybe as fans we have to accept that we're going to have to accept one of these project sort of strikers. But yeah, if I'm him, if you're going to be part of the squad, do you necessarily want to play then? Surely you want to go somewhere where you're going to be the number one sort of guy. Saying that he's been linked with Inter Milan, is he going to be the number one? It all depends how Arteta can improve him. Like I always say, when we're linked with players, I don't want to know what they're good at. I need to know what they're bad at, because how are they going to improve? I mean, you look at the bars on the floor, but when you look at what we've got and the strikers that we're linked with, whether we can get them or not, if he has half a leg out, maybe Pep wants to do his guy a favor. Why not, man?
You would think at some stage, wouldn't you, that Arsenal will do business with Manchester City? You would think that, Arteta, Pep, who have you got for me? Well, Sterling's got a year left. Jesus got a year left. You would expect somebody. Mate. Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't signed anyone from them yet.
We're not going to sign anyone 30 from them. So what's the point, man? I don't want their third choice keepers.
Yeah, that's it. Probably go and get Scott Carson. But
This
do you
is
know
what I'm
what?
talking about.
When it comes to this like striker thing, there's a lot of names in the air, but no one's like overly certain of anyone. You know, like just for example, when we signed Aubameyang, we were all like, "Wow, look at the goal record." You know, we're talking about David, Calvert-Lewin, all these strikers, but they're all like you don't. Have you got a name of anybody that you think like that's the one we should go for? Is it all kind of a little bit different?
I'm with you, man. Like they've all got pros and cons, and that's where I'm kind of like, as much as I want a striker that can get you 15, 20 league goals and be that kind of consistent guy, you know, there seems like a drought with strikers. So do we have the money to buy them elite talents, or do we need to accept we need someone that's going to grow and develop? Now with that, then obviously, you know, like with a young centre back, if they're developing, they're going to do stupid things like Gabriel against Wolves. That striker might not score goals for us. So that's where I'm looking at. You know, if you what are we looking at? If that doesn't become a thing, are we looking at someone that the bare minimum while they're learning does the Lacazette thing, the pressing, the dropping deep? I'd like you said, man, everyone's got their pros and cons. We probably have to take an educated risk. I mean, based on the recruitment last year, I will give Arteta the luxury that whoever you want, at least until I see different, I probably will. I'll have faith in them. But it's like you said, there's no out and out candidate, really, man. Really and truly, it's kind of brazy.
Yeah, man, and it's. I think the role of a striker is changing a lot in it as well now. You see a lot of the kind of strikers people are trying to get. It's like that out and out goal scorer. You're more of a link up player now. Hold the ball up, link up play, get in the box. So it'd be interesting what kind of striker we go for.
Exactly, and that's the thing, man. Like if they're a young sort of project player like Isaac, as now a lot of our fans were screaming and shouting, sign him in Jan. You know, again, our fans can be quite harsh. You know, just earlier on in the season, people were kind of onto Smith Rowe. Odegaard was onto people. That striker would have joined in January or next summer. He's got the expectations of the world. Now our fans will see he's young, but we need goals. You know, who can we get that could score goals now? Do you start trying something else? Do you go for a winger that might be able to grab goals? But then, as you know yourself, that probably has ramifications on the Sackers, indirectly on Smith Rowe plays out there, etc., etc. So it's a techie one, man. It's a really techie one, man. It really is. I don't know, man. It's something that what we've known we've needed it for time. We've known we've needed it for a minute. You know, you was doing vids, I was doing vids in the summer. It was all Tammy Abraham and Laturo Martinez. So they must know who they want, bro.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, the only thing I would say with Jesus, man, when you look at the way we're playing, the amount of crosses we put in, the fact we wanted to get Vlahovic and stuff like that, I just
imagine.
Yeah, I just think he wants a bit more of a target than a Jesus, kind of small, and I'm just not sure. I'm not sure he would fit with the way Arteta is playing at the moment. You know,
you're right on that.
Yeah, but looking ahead, obviously we got Watford at the weekend. Obviously, this race for top four is kind of like wide open at the moment. It's like the race no one wants to win. Like someone's pulled their hamstring, next man's tripped over. You know what I mean? Like someone's just gonna stumble over the finish line. Like for me, I'm in a situation now where I'm like, I just believe we've got to get top four this season because I just think next season it will be more difficult. Conte will probably get money to spend. United will appoint a manager and they will spend big. Chelsea, City, and Liverpool are kind of clear at the moment anyway. So I'm like, I didn't expect this opportunity to be there at the start of the season. So I just think we got to grab it now somehow, you know, kind of by any means necessary if we're good enough.
I mean, there's nothing more I could say. I mean, it wasn't our goal in the summer per se, but it's, you know, opportunity falls into your lap. I'm pretty sure when Leicester won the Premier League, they weren't sitting there in August and saying they were going to win it. So I agree with you, man. And I know there's talk about the process and having to go bit by bit, but getting Champions League football obviously affects what you can do off the field, the money you obviously get, the players you get. Because you do the transfer vids. Half the time when you and me are reading these reports, you hear that if the player is not necessarily English, they want to play Champions League football. That is something that us fans want. But if they didn't give a crap about Arsenal and we removed the emotive, that's obviously something that can help them. So, yeah, and when I hear the way the managers, Arteta used to be quite coy. He's speaking about it now. Xhaka at one point was talking about catching second and third. Saka's talking about playing in the Champions League. So it'd be nice for these players to want to go and do that and things. So it's like you said, I feel we have to grab this opportunity. We didn't grab it under Emre when we was a point off and got into the final. We need, like you said, we got to be that guy to win the race. Whether we trip up, bust our head, but hit the ribbon, I don't care, bro. We need to get there, man. We need that. We need that. Facts.
Well, it's definitely that, man. Like, and listen, we got a tough run. I think for me, the difference, if we can get top 4 or not, is going to be what we do against some of the bigger teams. Like, you know, we lost home and away to City. We've lost to Liverpool. We lost to Man United when they were kind of there for the taking. I think we have to start taking points off those teams if we're going to get top 4.
And you're right, man. You're right. It's like we need to take points off them. Our away record isn't necessarily the best. You mentioned Man United. It's nothing to do with Everton, but we drop points in kind of them games. We're dropping points from winning positions, and you're right with that. But for me, it's also, you know, we've got to go to Stamford Bridge. We got to play go St Mary's, Brighton, Crystal Palace. Now these are games
Tottenham.
Tottenham. We got a couple of bogey teams there, so. Boy, we need to stand up to be counted. There's 14 games, 13 games. There's many different narratives, man. We just need to keep going. I don't think we're going to win every single game, but yeah, man, we just need to keep going, not get excited, and we might be able to breathe in May, bro. You're right.
Yeah, man. Cal said, get Odegaard on the phone with Haaland. It's all about legacy. Henry has a statue. They only bring in mercenaries at City. Appeal to Listen, man, I don't think the legacy is going to appeal to Mino Raiola, mate. Yeah, I mean, them man there want cash. I don't care about legacy, bro. But yeah, man. Let's see what it's saying here. Oh, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone. It keeps freezing, but hopefully we'll get him back in. I'll keep going until he comes back, people. Get your comments in. Let me get some comments up anyway. Lone Star said every game is crucial. Hey, big up Fran in the chat. I think I clicked your comment. Make sure you go and follow Fran. I know you're probably on tomorrow. I know you usually do every other day. So make sure you go and follow Fran. Big up. Let's get DG back. Yo, can you hear me all right, yeah?
Yeah. I thought let me leave and come back. If that don't help.
Yeah, it's freezing, innit? So what I wanted to ask you as well was about the young players and the way we've kind of I look at that generation of like Maitland-Niles, Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson, Willett probably the exception because we did manage to get money for him, in fact. Do you think we missed out on that one? I think we've maybe improved now with the Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli kind of section, but you look at Ainsley, you look at Eddie, you look at Nelson, these guys haven't really developed. We haven't sold them. Do you think we kind of mismanaged that age group?
I think there's many different reasons. I think we've probably mismanaged, but at the same time, we've got to remember football's about 3 points. And I feel a lot of these players, I know it could be, you know, I can forgive them for wanting to be part of Arsenal and stuff, but it's like you're only playing the occasional cup games. Maybe you could have forced it. And I'd say for Arsenal, where we could have went right is not everyone's going to be here for the distance. Some guys are going to be here for a couple of years. Some people are going to be like Saka and Smith Rowe, where we never want them to leave. Everybody develops at different rates. You know, Smith Rowe's only been here really the last 18 months. I would say we missed the boat, man, because we should have tied down Eddie's deal a long time ago, got some money or let him go. Every season there's Ainsley Maitland-Niles, he's going there, and then there's an offer. Reece Nelson ain't really having the best of loan spells at Feyenoord. Yeah, we probably did, man. We probably did. We've probably just got to be a lot more proactive, you know, not just for the ones that are going to make it here, the guys that can make us some peace. So you're right, we probably missed the boat a little with a couple of them, man. Probably passed them by.
Yeah, because like you know, like obviously with Guendouzi leaving, I think it was announced yesterday, 9 million, and you're thinking, you know, like eventually we've got to become a better selling club. I think, you know, we've been smarter with the wages. I think we can't try and throw money at everything to get us out of a hole. We got to be smarter. But at the same time, if we're gonna sustain it, as they like to say, we got to start selling players and getting money. When you look at the list of players, of how many players we've let go for cheap, it's like you think a different technical director could have got a lot more money for them.
It's like you said, it's like it's not sustainable. As much as it's admirable for some senior players having their contracts torn up, it's not sustainable to do that and let people leave for free, especially where we can't necessarily pour money at things, and we've got to be financially prudent. We've got to make everything count. You know, Guendouzi leaving, I would have liked him to stay, but it is what it is. We've probably jumped the gun a bit because we got like 9 million. We might have been able to get double that in the summer, French international thing. So we've got to be better. I would say in them young players' defenses, is maybe if they had Arteta had a bit more stability, things would have happened. But I just think a lot of them just didn't, you've got to remove the romance if you want to make it, man. They've been at Arsenal half their lives. It's been amazing. I just feel a lot of them just needed to get out there. And is it any coincidence that Joe Willock, Nketiah, and obviously Ainsley and all of them, when they step on the pitch, yeah, they have good games, but they're not probably where they need to be. Definitely Nelson, man. He's not really doing much at Feyenoord, but I want them to have decent careers, bro, man.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like, you look at, obviously, Chelsea's kind of the benchmark at handling these young players, and you think they're selling players that have hardly played first-team football for more than what a Guendouzi's going for, and he's a French international. So it's a strange one, isn't it? Why we seem to be so bad at selling players.
Exactly. But again, sometimes it just comes down to who's hustling. And I think, to be fair to the current people there's been different individuals. This has been consistent. This is where we need to right the wrongs of what we've done. As in January, it could have come down to just how good are you at selling, or how good is your phone book. A better technical director may have got a forwarding on loan. I'm not necessarily criticizing Edu. I'm just saying, how good is your contact book? How experienced are you? So hopefully we change these things, man. It's crazy.
They definitely need to change, man. And do you think now, obviously, a lot of the players have been moved on. A lot of them needed to be moved on. Let's keep it 100. A lot of these guys needed to go. But I read something yesterday. Do you think there's an opportunity with Pepe for Arteta to kind of prove that he can turn somebody around? Not that Pepe had completely gone, but I think the general feeling is a lot of people have been like, you know what, Pepe might be gone in the summer. Has he got an opportunity with Pepe to be like, listen, let me kind of make him my project and show that this guy's a player and I'll kind of be the hero in this situation?
I mean, we've kind of been down this road with Pepe the last 2 seasons. So yeah. I hope Pepe does a 3-peat and has a rotunda and is one of our second half of the season better players. You're right. He does have an opportunity. I do think he likes him, and the way he spoke about him was kind of backed up. I do think, us fans, we did it a bit with Ainsley. We're doing it with Pepe. We feel a bit unfair when people haven't necessarily got minutes. I don't feel we can have everybody getting minutes and everyone and calling for balance and getting 3 points. We can't have it all. I was watching one of your live streams the other day, and you made a great point to kind of answer this, man. You were saying that, Arteta didn't really bring him in. Now, there's many players he didn't bring in that he's used, but when you ain't bought in a man, it's not really your fault. What have you got to prove, really? I think everyone can see Pepe is frustrating, but there's something to give. So hopefully, but honestly, I don't know, man. I would love it because there'll be more competition, and competition brings out better players. It's kind of easy for Saka to start games, but yeah, man, I don't know. I just think he feels over the course of 90 minutes. He's just more comfortable with them. I feel Pepe can do more showman stuff, but he just doesn't trust him like that, or for whatever reason. But Pepe has worked his way into that first team before, so it's a delicate one, man. I don't know, man. I think you just got to take his chances. Arteta kind of said it, whether you've got 1 minute, 5 minutes or so, take. And we was stressing over Martinelli at a point, and he's playing every game. The man's fit, so just take your chances. I will say I don't really want to go into next season with kind of this. If he's a squad player, indirectly tell us, or you lot keep it moving, innit? Maybe AFCON was the best thing for Pepe to come back with a bit more confidence. But yeah, man, truthfully, I don't know, bro. I really don't know. It's a difficult one. It's a complex one, man.
It is. And do you know what's interesting? I saw a thing saying, like just a story that someone was writing saying, Edu and Arteta kind of on the same page, because there was rumors that Arteta wanted Aouar and Edu got Thomas Partey. They were also saying that Edu wanted Emerson Royale, Arteta got Tomiyasu. And they're also, I know we missed, I'd rather have a chicken royale from Burger King, bro. You know what I mean? But and then obviously they're saying that Edu got a deal done for Arthur from Juventus, and then apparently the club and Arteta turned it down. They didn't want a long-term loan deal. So do you feel like those two are on the same page, or do you think, I don't know, how do you see it with those two?
I mean, naturally, I've got they publicly back each other, so I would say they're on the same page. I mean, naturally, if me and you was technical director, I think we'd have a lot more harmony than them two. But you're going to disagree on certain players of who needs to come in and whatnot. So there's probably naturally that. I kind of not worry for Edu's position, but I kind of look at it a bit peculiarly, because I do think Arteta holds more power than you, quote unquote. Even though if it was a normal organization, Edu should be ahead of him. But as you said, you know, players are being vetoed and Arteta's being proven right. I just think the club are betting on Arteta. Like, you're the guy, you're going to be the manager, you're the one that's changing all the things. So it's almost like, what do you need Edu for? To be fair to him, you know, what do you kind of need him for? He's not the most experienced at his role. And as you know, we're in a unique position where you've got two experienced man. So they probably are at loggerheads. And again, I know he's probably got sympathy for Edu, but that's your sort of season in January. That's what you're paid to do, really and truly, to us fans. You're meant to make something happen, regardless of the money that's available or whatever. You need to get something going, and he hasn't really done that. So, yeah, man, I would say they probably naturally disagree and things like that. And I think Arteta seems a bit more comfortable with the Kroenke. So, I don't know with Edu, man. I really don't.
Yeah, I've always had this impression that Edu will be out the door before Arteta if heads have to roll, you know. But the one, do you know the one thing that has disappointed? Well, not one thing, but one thing that has with Edu is I was thinking when he came in, all right, at least we'll start getting some Brazilians, like young quality Brazilians, not Willian, you know what I mean? So, you know, why yeah, I see that brother Anthony who's at Ajax, I think, and there's all these bring some proper Brazilians over here, man.
Even that, bro, I would even extend that to South America, really and truly. Like, and again, it might come down to who you know. You could be Brazilian, but if you're not plugged up and connected, then it's a myth, really. And again, you know, his agent is obviously a certain person. A certified director might say, you know what, give us some of your quality players. We don't want to deal with what you're dealing with. So it's a brazy one, man. I listen, I don't want to, I feel I have to kind of give Edu credit for our summer as well, because you've obviously assisted in that. But if Arteta leaves, I don't think Arteta's got a legacy. I can kind of sit here and say things. If it's Edu, I'm a bit blank, really and truly. Like, what is your sort of, what have you left here, really, in your own small little way? And that's not to criticize him or say get him out of things. It's just, what are you doing, really? What are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, do you know what? He's done certain things quite well. I think with transfers in, I think transfers out is where he's really struggled. I think
that as well.
You can see that he gets to a point where it's like he can't shift players, so they're just paying people off, and you know, I think that's where he struggles. Let me just big up Nick. He said, "Big up yourself, Kurt." He said, "My final goodbyes to his father on Tuesday. I've missed a few of your streams these past few days." Hey, big up Nick, man. Hope you're well, man. Yeah, man. I hope you're well, man. Obviously, the game on Sunday, man, Watford away. It has to be 3 points, don't it? Like, anything less than 3 points is a disaster.
You said it there, man. That's why I was kind of being humble, bantering United fans, obviously, with what's happened. As you said, 3 points, bro. Again, you're seeing the games. They're not getting any easier. We need to win, man. Obviously, Watford are fighting for their lives. They might prove a tricky customer, but we need to win, bro. Like, 3 points, nothing less. If you really want top four, you've got to take 3 points in these sort of games, especially with what's happening after us, which I'm sure you're doing a watch along for with City and United. So next week, I think United have Spurs as well. So
they do. There's a chance there. In terms of, you know what, at the moment, I think 90% of the Arsenal team picks itself. But the one kind of couple positions we can have the debate. What would you do with the wide players? Like Pepe came on, changed the game. Do you throw him in, or do you kind of hold him back on that super sub role? Obviously, you got Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Saka. Who would you play this weekend?
Do you know what? Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's good problems, man. You said it. Pepe. You know, when you've got to forget Arsenal's situation, when you've got a point to prove and you want to play games, we need to ride these players' purple patches and things like that. So yeah, I had to. I had to. That one was too crazy. I'd probably say Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka, you know, and that probably means Lacazette. But I mean, Lacazette, I'll be real, he saved himself, man. Second half of that Wolves game, I was like, all right, cool. First half, he just wasn't giving you the minimum he normally gives you with the link-up play. So I'd probably force Smith Rowe out there again and Saka, man, the Haaland boys. But then again, you've got Martinelli. It'd probably be between Smith Rowe and Martinelli before Pepe for me. But it could all change in a week after this, man. But yeah, man.
It's a tricky one, isn't it, man? Because, like, do you know what? I kind of want Pepe to start, you know.
So do I, but it's like, I want 3 points, man, and I don't want to break something that don't need breaking, man.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and you can listen. I don't think he'll start. Arteta will probably look at that performance and say, you know what, mate, nah, you're my super sub. You know, sometimes you come off the bench and do well. Everyone wants you to start. The manager's thinking, yeah, you're a good weapon to
That was
keep up the
Smith Rowe, isn't
sleeve.
it?
You
At a
know.
point when he came back from his injury.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, because you know what, you make a good point. Because I think if Lacazette doesn't score that goal, well, it wasn't officially given to him, but
Hmm.
I think a lot of Arsenal fans would have been saying after that game, he's got to get dropped. You got to do something else because, do you know what I mean? He was hanging on a little bit in that game, wasn't
Mm, mm, And even the Brentford game, even though we won, for the last couple of weeks, as much as it's about link up play and pressing and being the captain, sometimes you've just got to do your actual job role of scoring. So it is what it is. You might have to change things. I don't think Arteta needs to do that yet, or is it any way to do that. But if things don't improve, probably, I need to ask you a question, even though I'm on your channel.
he?
Again,
Go on.
Lacazette being dropped now. Let's just say in this world, Lacazette's dropped. God forbid football fall, but he's dropped. What do you do with the strikers then?
Yeah, I'm putting the Brazilian Donny through the middle.
Same.
High press. Might not be awesome with his back to goal, but yo, press, hard work, pace. Get him. Listen, if you're a defender. You know what I mean? Realistically, I feel like Martinelli would scare a defender more than Lacazette if he turned and faced you up, you
Because you
know?
can see Lacazette half the time. Martinelli's going to drop deep. He's going to hang on the channel. He's fast. He's a young guy. He's very naive. He's like some man you can kick, they'll stop. Martinelli's going to keep going. Not that Lacazette does that. I don't know. Would you mean a lot of our fans are talking about Pepe up front, false nine? He did it at his previous clubs. I'm not really with it per se. I think you've got to play a certain sort of way. But what would you say for that?
Yeah, do you know what? I could see him in a front two up front by himself. I'm a bit
That's
like, and the way we play as well, like, if you're putting crosses in, is Pepe going to win headers? I think he could play up front in a certain team, in a certain system, but the way Arteta's got us playing, man, I'm not sure about Pepe, man.
peculiar, isn't it?
Yeah, like listen, one thing I love about Pepe, when he gets a good chance, I'm confident he's going to score. I think he's a very good finisher.
Right.
But I'm just not sure. And listen, I don't think this manager would play him through the middle. I just don't think he would.
You're more likely
So
to see Smith Rowe Odegaard do the false 19.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he just wants work rate. But like Bakut saying, the way he finished that chance against Wolves, not many
Yeah,
players in our team finish like that. You know what I mean? So calm, so natural. I've always had this belief with Pepe that there's a player there, but
there is 100%.
how long do you wait to get the player? Because this summer, I think he's got 2 years left.
This is
So if you've either got to sell him or extend his contract. Really, you don't want him to get to a year when you paid 70 odd million. You've either got to cut your losses, say get what you can, or you give him a 2-year extension and protect him. But I don't know if it will be the extension to the contract, man. I don't know.
It could be like Martinez and Joe Willett, who play well for a bit, get a little bread and cut. I don't know.
And the thing is, if you sold Pepe now, I don't even think you're getting half what we paid for him. In fact, I'm almost certain you're not.
You have to do the loans with obligations, and again, it comes down to how good Edu can do the cowboy builder thing and finesse someone and do something. Boy.
What do you want to see in the summer moving forward? Like, obviously, a lot will depend on the competition that we're in, but what preferably are you looking for Arsenal to get done with transfers?
Well, I think you said it earlier about you can pick like 90% of the squad. Obviously, we've got a first choice 11, but for me, I think we've got a first choice 9. I think Xhaka isn't as good as people make out. His fanboys, he's definitely not as bad as his haters. But the number 8 position, that's where we need to improve. And I think we're only going to see our attack go to the next level, and actually our defense, if we kind of know what our midfield is about. So I need an 8. Goes without saying, the strikers. They're my first 2 starting points. Backup right back goes without saying. I don't know if Saliba maybe coming back, Ben White can do that if that means that's obsolete. So I would say that. I wouldn't mind another winger, But again, when we can buy, that's another thing. But if they're better than what we have, like if you could get a talisman, because especially if you go and get a young striker where, all right, they need to learn, maybe a winger could help make up the deficit. And then that guy can kind of have a more healthy space to develop. So yeah, man, number 8 and a 9 first things, like minimums for me, absolutely needed. I would say backup keeper, but we've technically got some American done in it. So
Turner, yeah. I don't know too much about him. And Ampha said, bros, with so much break in between games, do you believe it will slow down momentum or will give more time to prepare? How do you view that 1 game a week situation?
I mean, in theory, it doesn't matter when you lose, because there's been times we've played once a week and we haven't looked like the sharper team. So it all depends what you're doing. What I will say is we can use it to our advantage. But if we're aspiring to be this team that are competing on all fronts, then there's multiple games. Like even in March, there's a point where I think we got like 3 games in 9-10 days or something.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to do it, because if you're in Europe next year, it only gets worse. Football's a squad game. And this is where I think fans need to learn when they draw conclusions. Like, do you remember we sat here in the summer, people saying, don't get on the guard because we got Smith Rowe. It's a squad game. So, boy, it should help, but it depends what you're doing with the week. It depends what you're doing with
it. And that's why I was saying, like, if you win that game, great, because that good feeling will last for 7 days. When you've lost a game, to me, you want nothing more than to play the next game. I'd rather play on the Tuesday than have to sit on that L for 7 days. You know what I mean? Right. So I think it depends how you get on, really, man. Clement, like Clem says, make sure you go and subscribe to DG. Links in the title, so you can click on there. I think you're a couple of hundred away from 45k, so let's get him there today.
Appreciate
Follow him on Twitch as well. He's doing a lot of content over there. I'll be on there soon, man. I'm soon.
You lot need to get on Curtis. Stop acting, man. He lied to you lot. He made you lot.
Nah. We just it was just delayed.
Man, get on to him.
Oh man, just a few more before we round up. Anyway, get some questions in, peeps. I wanted to ask you about the players that are out on loan, and what you think might happen with some of them. I mean, I've put a few notes down. I mean, I read that Bellerin's playing quite a lot. He may go to Rera. They reckon he's doing very well at Fiorentina. He should go. What do you make? Ainsley will probably come back. Nelson will come back. How do you think we manage those players in the summer? Do we just try and sell all of them?
Well, life is funny, isn't it? People that look like their days are numbered might just get a role, but at the same time, probably need to get rid. Once again, gonna know how good Edu is at selling. How we sell probably affects who we can bring in. And you look at them, not too many of them stocks high. Like the easiest one probably to sell is Torreira. He seems happy, he's doing bits. Yeah. As for Bellerin, I mean, Ainsley Maitland-Niles ain't making no noise at Roma right now. So gonna need to hustle, bro. Gonna need to say something. You mentioned Reece Nelson, he's not really doing much in the Dutch league. So, you need to get these 2023 contracts up. Leno, who probably is leaving anyways, wants to go. Boy, you need to get them man there out. A lot can change, but it's the contracts, I'd imagine Edu and Arteta knew who they're giving new deals to up until this point. If you don't know, then yeah, man, you probably need to get them both, everybody gone, really. Needs to happen.
What's your gut feeling on Saliba? Do you have a little worry that he won't come back, or are you calm that it's all in control?
I mean, you kind of answered the question. I don't think you can be calm or you can't be, kind of vexed. On one hand, I feel surely he can't, with all the noise we made, he ain't even kicked a ball for this club. Surely he's got to be given an opportunity. But saying that, they might just say, you know what, we paid 30-odd million, he's doing well. If we get that back and the sell-on clause, we've got our pivot sorted, we might just change it up. So I hope he gets a chance. I don't want to say expect him to get a chance, but it's got to be in the balance, because me and you, we're not working there. We don't know what they're saying, really. When he plays well against PSG, it looks like he's there, and you hear Edu and that are going over there to watch him. He's another one that allegedly needs contract talks. If you're Saliba, are you signing a new deal necessarily? You might not. So on the fence, man, I hope he gets a chance. I think he will get a chance, but I don't know until Arteta tells us what's what, man. I'm shook still.
Yeah. And like you said, man, he's played over 30 games this season. He's in Europe. He looks very settled at Marseille, man. He might think, just leave me here, man. But
Guendouzi might be acting.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? His boys are there. I don't know. We'll have to see. I hope, man. I hope he comes back. I really hope he comes back, man.
Trust.
He looks a proper player still. GSB said I would go in for Pogba. I mean, I don't think I would take Pogba, but I don't think he would come to us. So, I can't imagine Arteta with Pogba either. That ain't gonna work, man. Let me see. Nelson sold, Ainsley sold, and Ketia, Lacazette. And do you know what? We're going to have a busy summer, aren't we? Because there's, we've got a lot of players on loan coming back. Like you said, we're going to have to try and sell, and then we're going to have to buy players as well.
The thing is, can you, as much as I think about it, can you afford to sell all of them? Because we've got a small squad. It's all fun and games because we're playing 38 games in the Prem and we got knocked out of competitions early. As much as we're saying sell and buy, we know this isn't FIFA. Can you really, especially the young ones, you might need to keep them around. Can we sell them all? Like beyond the obvious, could we afford to sell them all? There's a lot of football to be played next season if we all get what we want. So I don't know.
That's a great point because really, if hopefully we're in Champions League, but if we're in Europa League, you might need Ainsley Maitland-Niles to play them 6 group games. Or you might need a little Pablo Mari to just go centre back. And so, you got a good point there. Some of these guys might end up
in that as well. That would have been his.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a crazy one, man. Graham said, Curtis and DG, would you make a cheeky bid for Weghorst in the summer if Burnley get relegated? A cheap option will help with the crosses. I mean, personally,
I would leave it alone, but based on what I'm seeing, if he was coming to be an absolute squad player, I wouldn't cry. But I think we just leave that one alone. Do other things really, like Curtis said.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Just get a few questions in there. I'll round up. I'll be out of here in about 5 minutes. What have you got? Anything else coming up today you want to plug?
Just gonna be playing Football Manager on Twitch at 4:30, man. That's me, broski, man. Escape realities of football and just man, is what it is. That's me, man.
Big up Green Gooner, man. He said, big up Big C. Great stream today and hope you and the fam are keeping well. Mugs and keyrings restocked in the armory this morning. The missus not happy putting away the good cutlery. It's mad when Arsenal win a couple games, innit? How you start floating around the Arsenal website. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, if Arsenal get top 4, man, I'll be looking like Ty this summer. Headphones, socks,
That Piccadilly line shirt has never looked more attractive. Every week we win, it's starting to look good. I can't lie, it's starting to look amazing. You're right about the merchandise.
You, man. When that first came out, I said, "Are you mad? I ain't buying that." When they won and I seen it in the window with the lights on it, I was like, "Boy, man, that was a big win against Wolves,"
I see Smith Rowe wearing it. It's not so bad. It's
not
quite
so
innovative.
bad, you know what I mean? But man, let me get a few comments in, then we'll get out of here. Anantha said Calvert-Lewin has been hit and miss. Do you think he will suit Arsenal?
I mean, I wouldn't be too heads over heels for signing him, but I mean that was the talk of the summer. I mean, if he's the right man and Arteta wants him, I'll let him do his thing. And we have scouted him, but I'll be lying if I said I'd 100% be convinced if we brought Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Really? South London's fine. It's a bit of a random one for DG. If you could represent 3 new and upcoming ballers, who would they be?
That's a difficult one, man. I just know Kareem Adeyemi. What's the guy's name? I forgot his name, but he's 15 years of age. I obviously just go and watch PSG's youth league. He's 15 years of age. I think he's their number 6. He's a light-skinned guy with K Rose. No, it's not Curtis Shaw. He actually is that. He's in midfield. I forgot his name. He's there, man. Give me a sec. I actually find my notes. Let me actually, it's bugging me, man. But as for a third name, I don't know, my guy. But I can find that name for you.
It's a tricky one. I'll quickly finish with this one. Yasin said, what are your thoughts on Chelsea news regarding ownership? Do you think this is a bit of a I don't know. I don't want to be too I got to be careful what I say, but I feel like Abramovich just smartly getting his way out of trouble without necessarily getting rid of Chelsea. Basically, if he leaves Chelsea, he gets a big bag of money. And if he doesn't, he can sit in the background, avoid all the sanctions, and then maybe comes back in when all the drama calms down. Well, what do you make of Abramovich?
Every week, this thing is just changing. Every day, this thing is just changing. And it's just a game of geopolitical stuff, isn't it? Russia versus England and the proxies, sort of these lot, you're seeing sponsorships torn up, Roman getting pressured, Usmanov getting pressured. That's all designed for them to obviously run back to Putin and say, chill, bro, and get them to, not like him. So what more to be said? You said it yourself. It's all wrapped up, man. I would, I don't want to praise Abramovich, but you kind of have to thank him in his own little individual way for what he did at Chelsea, because the Premier League he's helped it kind of move on in the same way the Wengers, the Sir Alex Fergusons, the Joses, and the Peps did. So, yeah, hopefully they get Mike Ashley, though. I will say that, man.
Yeah. Hey, James said he's giving up 2 billion. Why exactly, man? Do businessmen give up 2 billion for joke? I don't think
Exactly.
so. But Kuta said Big CB is out here rocking the UG seat cover. Yo, they need to get top 4 before I grab the seat cover still.
Trust
Yo,
me.
I'm going to let you go, DJ. I appreciate you coming on as always, bro. Great to have you back. We'll be back
Come
on
on.
your channel next Wednesday. We'll confirm the time and everything. He's on. What would you say? You're on Twitch today. What time you on there?
4:30.
4:30. Yeah. Make sure you tune in. Football Manager settings, man. I hope you're winning the title with Arsenal on this.
I mean, we switched up. I was unemployed. Now I'm Aston Villa, man. So yeah, we're doing all right in the Prem, man. I'm trying to see what I can do for the Villains, man. All right, South London's finest. It's Zaire Emery. Warren Zaire Emery's the guy. That's his name.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah, people, big up for tuning in. 1,500 of you. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to DG as well. Can we get him to 45k today? And I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm sure you'll be on your channel as well tomorrow. So big up, bro. Big up to everyone for tuning in.
Love for having me, man.